this on the forum.
Recording is on.
Oh yeah, so this is a good experiment of DXDAO using Futarchy. There's an impact market based on this proposal. There's two open markets. Will this proposal pass? One is in DXD and one is in DAI, and you can see them trading using the two links in this market. And so they're, like we've seen with some Gnosis impact markets, it should imply a percentage change in DXD price based on the outcome of the market, the proposal passing or not. And so it should move dynamically as the two underlying markets change.
So is there are those like self-contained? Because I can imagine some would I look at that as signal to decide whether or not to vote, yes or no, like vote in DXDAO, and then simultaneously, I guess people could be looking at the prediction markets as a signal of whether or not the proposal is going to pass. So I guess there's some
and the powerful thing is, okay, if you're looking at the proposal and then you have the consensus view, or you have the crowd view of everyone, right? Or you're trying to guess what rep holders are going to do. Then you say, okay, I think I either know or don't know what rep holders are going to do, and then I'm going to bet on that outcome. But I can either bet in DXD or I can bet in DAI. So depending on what I am more comfortable with, if I think this is going to pass, I think that's bullish DXD in general, right? So I'm probably okay betting. I would bet the market that says it's going to pass using DXD, because if it passes, DXD should rally, right? And so that's theoretically should show the difference between the price of DXD depending on whether or not this passes.
Yeah. And assuming though that the price of DXD, I guess it's different because in this case we have rep doing the voting. In other places it would be DXD holders doing the voting too, and how it would affect the underlying token price.
Yeah, I don't know how proven this is, but I think it's an interesting idea, right? The markets, there's two individual self-contained markets, one in DAI, one in DXD, one denominated in each, right? So people should be participating in those markets individually on what they think the outcome will be. But if people also think that the outcome itself will increase the price of DXD, it just means that the one that's denominated in DXD should actually trade a little bit higher than the other one, because people would prefer to buy it DXD and then put that in, anticipating the increase in the price when the market actually does resolve to whatever. So it's not like one would say yes and one would say no or whatever. It's you're kind of watching the margin.
You're only watching them together, really. They don't actually provide, or I guess that's the interesting thing. The takeaway is how they all, Some may call this an experiment.
Yeah, it gets pretty complex. There are documents that I think Gnosis has probably made explaining exactly how this all works and breaks down, and I can I'll include that in the meeting notes so people can read into it.
Oh, and the interesting aspect here is that no one knows what will happen.
Life, man. I think the sun will come up tomorrow, though. I'm always pretty sure on that.
If it doesn't, you probably don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, we haven't had a single sun hour in Sweden for whole December.
5 more days until the worst day of the year, and then it turns around. Sunlight I'm so excited. I can't imagine Sweden. I guess there are more thoughts on this. I guess we have that forum thread from way back when. There's not a specific one that has this that we could follow up things.
I think actually kind of doing away with, like, pausing the bonding curve kind of frees us up to do a couple of other things that I think are good too, like providing liquidity in swapper at a price. You know, like if the bonding curve is paused and the price goes above where the bonding curve is, then I don't think there's really a problem with using the treasury at prices higher than which it's already been solved. I mean, that's my personal take on it. I don't know if other people.
That could be an effect.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't know if this price impact market could be interesting. I don't know how much I trust the effect. I don't even know if people really even understand these things. So I don't know sure if I really trust the impact that it would have on the price at this point. But I don't trust that the market would truly reflect what the actual impact might be. But yeah, we'll see.
Cool, and I know that there are no way overs here, but the two other things, the 1.x and 2.0, so there's another long meeting, not about any of this stuff. That's interesting. Governance 2.0 like didn't even cover any of this stuff. There's still a lot of stuff to talk about, and there's videos that are linked to in the agenda chat there. I'm gonna try to write up a post. Pulp has a really good spreadsheet laying out some of the solutions that were discussed on the governance 2.0, and I'm going to try to write up like something for the forum, like another midway check-in there. I think that we'll hopefully be narrowing down. I feel like we presented about 5 or 6 different solutions. I should said another one come in from Eric from DAOstack recently. So we'll kind of lay out those solutions, and then I imagine like after the holidays, we'll have another meeting, I think on the 2nd of January, the 4th of January. And hopefully we'll kind of have maybe a first draft of the solution, or kind of a solution we maybe have some agreement on, and we'll iterate on that over the next couple weeks. Don't know if anyone had any like thoughts on yesterday's meeting or things coming forward on the Gov 2.0 front. They're all kind of complicated, so like it was hard to like give an overview of like one of the solution there. The spreadsheet actually lays out them pretty well.
Yeah, I'd recommend if you're interested, check out the spreadsheet. I mean, I'd like kind of view it at a high level as basically trying to balance like the voting power between, like, you know, you can even say like capital and labor, but I think, you know, I mean, really just people who are like actively doing stuff with the DAO, working for it, and people who are investing or buying the interest in it. So I think it's really interesting. Like I'm planning to kind of look more deeply at each of the proposals, and over the holidays maybe do some modeling, like just, you know, I like to think of it as like, does this make people happy from like different perspectives? Like, does it make the investor who puts a lot of money in but maybe doesn't even want to be an active participant happy? Does it make the active investor happy? Does it make a worker who, you know, maybe doesn't really have a penny to their name, but then, you know, comes out of school and starts working for DXgov and they like are really capable and add a lot of value? Like, are they getting a good say? Like, I think we have the opportunity to strike a balance there and really like lead the way here. And I'm hoping that in the end, it won't be that hard it won't be that complicated.
Right, and then if anyone wants to, it's an open document. So if you want to take a row and put your comments in there, if there's anything, different parameters that you do or don't like, that might be useful to kind of eventually get more signaling from the community about all, there's just so many different factors that could be balanced here. So any feedback would be great.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see all of the different like ideas presented next to them, because we do have just like different arguments, discussions going on that are just really interesting, and cool to see like different ideas presented. And I think that's all part of like getting to a better and the end final product through all of those influences. Cool. And Sky, on the XDAI, I think there's 14 submissions. There's a competition scheme. So that I think is running for another 2 days for new submissions for Omen markets. And then there will be voting after that. Is that correct?
Yeah. There's some good markets on there. Hopefully we can get a bunch more, but 2 or 3 days left to submit. And then I think there's going to be a 5-day voting period for rep holders in XDXDAO each rep holder can choose their top 3 favorite markets. And some of the markets may need a little like language adjustment or whatever, but just in general, what people think are the 3 best markets, and then those will be the winners. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because you really are like you're like entering a contest through like your, I was gonna say Ethereum address, but I guess XDAI address.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other thoughts, or we can get out of here? I was just checking the price. It's forgot that this whole conversation was going on like a really big booming market day. So Ethereum at 626 now.
That's how you know we mean business. Bitcoin's just put 20K and we didn't mention it once.
It was like literally the first thing and like the last thing. It's like, oh, that's right. That's what's going on. But cool. All right, guys.
Great.
We're gonna
Bye, guys. Bye. Ciao.
Right.